Hi. Uh, Imagine you're in a community of people who have all suffered amnesia through a catastrophic event that happened, let's say, some 15 years ago, right? Recent enough for everyone to know that there are many unanswered questions long enough ago for the search for those answers to be inconvenient now, because life has settled down to a fairly comfortable existence. We don't want to remember those questions anymore. Makes us uncomfortable. It's inconvenient. New relationships have blossomed in the community, and everyone knows where they stand now in the community. Any experience, of course, that started in such a dramatic way, something happened and we all got amnesia. So it must have been a pretty traumatic event. So any experience that started in such a dramatic way will probably end suddenly as well. But who knows when? So why think about that? Here's the question. Are we lost? Well, technically we are, since no one knows where they've come from or where they were going. No one knows who they are, really. And the only value we have is our perceived value to this community of people that we're surrounded by. And that's our situation, isn't it? God is the means of mankind's salvation. The God idea is simply this. There's someone or something out there that determines what is valuable and what is not, what I should seek and what I should shun, what is better and what makes things better, or what makes things worse. In other words, what is right? What is wrong? There's someone or something out there that answers those questions. God is someone or something outside of myself that provides a frame of reference, a compass, as it were, for my life. Without a God, I'm completely lost, not knowing where I've come from, what my potential is, and where I should be heading. I soon become unconvinced of any meaningful difference between me and the lower animals. I'm truly in need of salvation. If I'm in a nation or a community of nations with enough population and economy, I can create a God out of the collective. Public opinion can provide me with my value, my direction, my sense of meaning, my sustenance and my prosperity, my sense of achievement, my comfort, and my protection. If, however, public opinion is not tied to any external standard, any standard outside of itself, then obviously it becomes fickle and volatile. Sudden events can change what is valuable in public opinion. Suddenly something that was valuable isn't valuable anymore. And the vanity, then, the vanity of my entire life, all of a sudden it lies naked before my eyes as hope just disintegrates because what I thought was valuable, what I thought I'd acquired that, made me someone or something, that's not the public's opinion anymore. And my hope for the future just disintegrates. The loss of meaning in the heart of Westerners and inhabitants of the Western world, a Western world that has been flirting with godlessness, is the source of this Western epidemic of mental illness and, sort of a cluster of mental illnesses that plague the West, irrespective of which class you are, irrespective of what strata of society you are. Everybody has this sort of backroom kind of reality that's lurking over them, the shadow of mental illness. Nobody talks about it. The elephant in the room. This is highlighted in Ecclesiastes. Vanity of vanities, the preacher said, all is vanity. But then in the same book of Ecclesiastes, in the Bible, it gives the solution. It says, if you want to get out of this cycle of meaninglessness, here's the answer. Remember now your Creator. And we advise you that you do it in the days of your youth, so that you spend the bulk of your life with a real sense of meaning. God wants to save us, which means he wants to reconnect us with himself so that our lives will have meaning, will have purpose, and will have direction, so that we can fulfill our destinies. We were created in the image of God. Now that's some pretty cool stuff. Imagine if you were created in the image of Superman, but you only discovered that just the day before you died. You'd think, I've been like wasting my whole life. I mean, I could have been flying around and I could have been, saving all these people. I could have been this superhero. I could have had this really exciting life. Instead, I've been walking. I've been working at wherever. I don't want to be discriminatory in my choice of workplaces, but you know what I mean. I could have had a much more fulfilling life. I've been saved, but it's come a bit late. And so the preacher says, remember now your Creator in the days of your youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when you shall say, I have no pleasure in them. Ecclesiastes 12. And so we want to have this conversation with you because, and this is really where it starts. This is the heart of our message, really, and it's this, that God wants his creation back. God wants, he's calling to the cities in your nation. He's saying, come back to me. I'm desperate that I can be close to my creation. The first set of people that express a different opinion about that was God's people, God's nation of Israel, that says, hey, you stay over there with your holiness and this mountain that you've got, and even if a even if a beast should touch that mountain, he had to be stoned and so on. This God who is a consuming fire, we don't want to be so close to him because they're scared, right? That's it, that we get scared at the idea of a God who is perfectly holy being close to us. It's like, that is not a cool place for me to be. That's a little bit too close to this consuming fire. It's like I might get consumed. So let there be a distance, right? Moses, you go over there, you be the prophet, you could go up the mountain, and if you wanted to take Joshua with you or whatever, you guys, you work that out. But for me, I'm going to just sort of receive the messages that you relay to me. But this sort of face-to-face stuff and being that close, I think I'm going to pass on that. And that's basically where we have this situation that mankind is lost, but the cost of being saved is just too big. Why? Because of mankind's sin. And everyone knows that God can't change. He can't suddenly become a sinner. He can't just become someone who's just cool with sin and, he suddenly just, winks at sin and doesn't judge it and doesn't consume it. So God is stuck in who he is, and we are stuck in our sin, and that makes salvation impossible until God comes up with this plan, this good news that we refer to as the gospel, the good news. I'm going to tell you about that next time we get together. For now, just let's go with this. God wants to save you. Salvation is possible. Salvation is actually made available. It's available now. That's good news. And you're going to hear about it next time.